Lynn, thank you for that kind welcome. Really appreciate it. Again, just like to thank the Huntsville Madison County Chamber of Commerce, the AMC, for the invite today. Again, obviously for RCCTO, as we'll try to show what we're doing for our Army and our country today. Again, unfortunately, General Rash, the director for RCCTO, couldn't be here today, so he sent a contracting guy to talk about program management. All joking aside, again, my short tenure at the RCCTO, the team continues to constantly strive to get a wide assortment of critical technologies into our warfighters' hands to counter our adversaries' capabilities. And while I'm going to follow your lead as we do things rapidly in the RCCTO, we also do not have a video for today. Cool. Next slide, please. Again, here's just the things I'll talk about in the next 10 charts. Next slide. Starting up right-hand corner, again, you'll see General Gordon's quote on how dynamic the world is today and his charge to make sure that we continuously stay ahead of our adversaries. That simple statement is really foundational on why the RCCTO exists and how we're rapidly transforming the Army's capabilities. The question that General Rash often gets is, what is the RCCTO's mission, and how are we getting capabilities to the warfighter faster than normal? For those not familiar with the mission of RCCTO, I'll highlight just a few key areas. Again, first, rapid prototyping. It's in our mission, it's in our name. Again, to get after those near-term, mid-term threats. Since our inception just really 4 short years ago, the goal is to get technologies such as mid-range capability, hypersonics, directed energy, and other technologies to the warfighter in as much shorter time frame than traditional programs. Again, second, we're nested with the Army's modernization priorities, where we have some of our projects focused on long-range precision fires, air defense artillery, just to name a few. The bottom third of the slide, again, shows you our project offices in the RCCTO. I'll discuss some of those efforts a bit more on the following slides. And also, however, again, the RCCTO can't accomplish our mission without the support of our industry partners, and many of which are from the state of Alabama, and more specifically, the North Alabama region. Again, we've got awarded just over $1 billion contract to 10 Huntsville companies supporting our efforts. So we really rely on those experts to get after the projects and capabilities that we're looking for, whether that's directed energy, hypersonics, mid-range capability, all very important to what we're doing across the RCCTO. Additionally, we're always seeking support from small businesses wherever possible, and 42%, roughly $412 million of the dollars that we direct here in Huntsville are going to small businesses. Next slide, please. For those that haven't seen this modernization continuum chart, the RCCTO lives in that red oval kind of bottom center. Again, we bridge the valley of death, as we call it in science technology demonstrations, and where we can build that prototype, harden it, get it to the soldiers so they can use it in an operational environment as quickly as possible. And then we might get those over programs of record. That's our intent. We've got some of those programs transitioning here shortly. Again, this valley of death is why the RCCTO exists. An example, again, thanks to Mr. Fowler for all the DE support that we get from the SMDC world. We take our team, Redstone stakeholders, SMDC talented folks, scientists and engineers, same with ADVEC experts. We pull them into our DE projects and have those teams quickly working to get those systems and capabilities into the hands of soldiers for testing and operational capabilities. Again, the point here is really RCCTO is pulling from both sides between the S&T world and the programmatic world to shorten that gap between getting things into that program of record and into the warfighter's hands. And we could not do that without the 400 talented employees we have, whether that's military, government, civilians, and 60% of our workforce is CETA contractors. Again, those science and technology experts in our formation doing all the hard work to make sure that we work with our industry partners to get those equipment and capability out to the warfighter. So that all sounds great. So what's next? How do we move more rapidly? Let's go to the next slide. Again, this slide illustrates how the RCCTO receives its mission and guidance. And then upper right-hand corner, you see the RCCTO's board of directors. It's the Secretary of Army, the Chief, the Under, the Vice, the Honorable Mr. Bush, our Army Acquisition Executive, and General Rainey, Army Futures Commander. Traditionally, the programs start from the bottom up, and that's roughly true for 700 programs out there now. However, our key takeaways is Army senior leaders and a 3-star director are able to remove barriers and energize the enterprise to move faster. Those senior leaders also underwrite the risk in these programs as we try to accelerate those projects. Another factor that helps RCCTO get at the capability of the warfighter is the octagon process. That's in the lower right-hand side. What's an octagon, you're asking yourself? Again, the octagon represents the doctrine, organization, training, material, leadership and education, personnel, facilities, and policy. .MLTFP for short. Each effort in this process requires finding the path to push the point of those enablers and having those recurring touch points to drive a schedule. Again, this model uses our .MLTFP and coordinates the stakeholders across the enterprise to get the capability, quickly produce, develop those formations that can support the capability and incorporate them into Army formation. A lot of this process, again, is limited on how long it takes to build a thing and work through the bureaucracy of the normal program requirements such as design and testing. Again, having senior level Army leaders break through that red tape is what makes us be able to go more rapid. Again, our requirement with our enterprise stakeholders is to get how long did it take to build that thing, right? The fastest we can do it helps us get after solving our problems. Again, getting soldiers to touch and interact with those things has been also key to our development, rapid ability throughout the octagon process. And getting Army senior leaders involved, we've been able to designate units more quickly and test a given capability. In addition to the octagon process, working with our industry partners and our team RCCTO partners, we also have failure successes, but the more rapidly we can do those and the soldier touch pieces, we can get our incredibly talented workforce to make this process work for the RCCTO. Again, that's just a quick overview of how the RCCTO operates. I'm going to transition now to talk about some of our current projects and some of our future projects. Next slide, please. All right, for hypersonics and our mid-range capability, again, we were tasked to do that in 4 and 3 years respectively. And so again, pretty soon, again, just next week, we're going to start transitioning our MRC team over to PDO missiles in space. On the hypersonic side, again, that first equipment was delivered to soldiers 2 years after receiving the mission. So that's pretty fast for the Army when we're talking about this type of capability. Again, one highlight of that is getting soldiers to the new equipment training, involving in the process from very early on in the design. It's also been incredible teaming between industry, the program office, our team RCCTO partners, and the soldiers. Again, using the octagon process, and everyone leaning forward to enable both hypersonics and MRC to shorten those project schedules. Again, we're working towards unit certification and future test activities, as well as getting the initial batteries and combat capability complete. As I said, fortunately, Missiles in Space is gaining a great team, as most of our hypersonics team will transition to that office, same as our MRC teammates. And so, unfortunately for the RCCTO, we'll lose some great teammates in front. Likewise, PDO Missiles in Space team, that team will work to deliver the next 2 batteries, complete technology insertions that were pre-planned upgrades, and we've jointly worked with the Navy early in the development of this capability. Transitioning to MRC, as I already stated, that capability was stood up 3 years ago. We're able to fire, again, the Navy's SM-6 combat cruise missiles from a land-based capability. Again, the entire enterprise really worked to make this a reality for the whole entire team. Taking a Navy capability, getting the contracts in place, getting the proper bunkers certified to hold those munitions, and the right industry partners working toward an end state of delivering the first battery this year have been significant milestones for all. The MRC team will transition again to PO Missiles Space starting next week, continue to deliver their next 4 batteries. Next slide, please. Again, I can just say thanks to the SMDC team for, again, providing all their subject matter experts into our directed energy programs. So again, I'm going to talk about kinetic missiles and the things that you can't see. Really of note, as you'll see in the middle of these slides, we've got a threat set. Really, that's based on how we're tailoring those different systems from anything small that's flying through the air to big things flying through the air. These projects, we're working to pull the S&T communities forward to harden those capabilities. They can work on both mobile and fixed platforms. Like the precision fires modernization, the Army has asked RCCTO to get after directed energy and how can it integrate with the Army's air defense capabilities. We're working with a wide variety of prototype systems to build a better picture on the data that were developed from anywhere from 10 to 300 kilowatt systems. In concert with those kinetic systems, we also have a lot of learning to do to make sure that we can integrate how we understand what we're going to fire the DE versus our kinetic systems. Again, another aspect of this, really, again, it all boils down to money and affordability. Again, directed energy allows us to provide a greater depth, magazine depth, to our defeat capabilities. But what we develop also must be affordable, reliable, simultaneously make sure that soldiers can fight with it on the battle. Again, on the left-hand side, you'll see the DEM SHORAD vehicle. It's a 50 kilowatt system. In September, we delivered 4 of those systems to the 4th of the 60th 88 Fort Sill. And so that platoon now has 4 systems they can utilize. And so that's going to continue to go through developing their TTPs and to improve the reliability for future systems. Again, so a huge milestone for the Army and the DE program is getting those 4 weapon systems to soldiers at Fort Sill. And again, we're going to work on a second set of prototypes in the near future, again, to make sure that we improve the lethality of the system. Moving into high energy laser in the middle, again, that's a 302. We're going to deliver 2 300 kilowatt systems in the latter half of 2025. Again, fairly high energy lasers. The key to this system is that, again, General Rash charged the RCCTO to say, hey, this has got to be compatible with the Army's air integrated missile defense and battle command systems right out of the box. So that's a big deal for the team to work on. And then moving to the far right of our side, again, there's our high power microwave that has recently completed its first government test acceptance test. And we'll be receiving 3 more of those systems in the near future. As an artilleryman, it looks like a Q-37 radar, so I do not recommend walking in front of it. But what this is specifically designed to do is target and destroy UAS swarms. So if you think about that swarm technology for UAS out there, that's what this system is built to do with its high focused energy microwaves. And then we'll go through net training with that and get those in for an operational assessment of the test system. Next slide, please. Continuing along the lines of lower energy DE systems, again, both maneuver and fixed prototypes. Again, these are going to work to defeat those threat systems, threat sets in the UAS range from 1 to 3. Again, the key to all these prototypes is to be able to collect that data from each system, analyze their lethality, reliability at scale, and affordability to inform future decisions. Starting at the far left, you've got a 20 kilowatt system mounted on the infantry squad vehicle, protect infantry grade combat teams. Again, our goal is to get that platoon's equipment in place this fiscal year. The next mobile platform is the support of our USASOC partners. That goal is to get them 6 vehicles or 6 systems, again, that allow for passive detection and with future technology insertions, incorporate targeting and defeat options, and again, it's for ease of deployability for our SOCOM partners. Lastly, on the right, those are our PHEL prototypes. We have 2 10 kilowatt systems that are operationally deployed outside the United States, and a third 20 kilowatt system, also a bonus to support operations after it goes through successful live fire. Bottom line, this is in the hands of soldiers now, doing its job in the Oconus region. Next slide, please. Okay, switching gears to our hybrid electric vehicle projects we're working on by the Army. Again, these prototypes are going to help provide insights to future operational capabilities. Again, the key takeaways from these systems, they have the ability to utilize their batteries to operate silently, close to the objective. Can also reduce noise signature as a stationary and fighting position. The recent Bradley emerging test results indicate an increased silent watch, silo and build, another big deal for soldiers when you're out on the battlefield, right? If you can be silent, your enemy does not know you're there, that's a win for them. Again, it actually also provides more mechanical power on board the BHEAD as well as more off-board power. So we'll incorporate these kind of data sets in future combat systems. We're also going to have 7 prototype platforms that we'll be testing over the next in the near term to better understand these operational impacts and the technology. So we'll take 7. We'll have Humvees, JLTVs, and some Striker variants that we're going to be testing here in the near future to make sure that we know provide that data to the PEO ground combat systems. Next slide, please. Okay, now to new work. In the spring of this year, General Rainey asked Lieutenant General Rash and the RCCTO to get after human-machine integration. So with our focus being on payloads and how we make units more lethal and survivable. To that end, we'll start with a small light infantry company and armor company formations, trying to help them in the robotics sphere. So RCCTO has partnered with robotic and autonomous system stakeholders across the Army and industry to get after this task. The intent is to utilize machines to offload risk and help inform soldiers for more rapid decision making. In addition to payload-focused integration with formations, will work to include ground and air systems enablers to find, fix, and engage enemy targets. The concept of field robots in the battlefield will still require humans in the decision cycle to make decisions prior to kinetic or non-kinetic engagements with enemy targets. If you're wondering how industry can help in our HMI efforts, again, we're looking for assistance in feedback and iteration, research, prototype development, testing and evaluation collaboration, technology transfer, dual-use technologies, and intellectual property sharing, supply chain integration, standards, certification, training and education, and maintenance and support, cybersecurity data protection. Again, this is all stuff that we need help with in the RCCTO. So if you're an industry partner out there looking to team with the RCCTO, again, I'm going to leave my card at the front of the team here, but please reach out. Again, our team, our POCs can reach out to you to get in contact. Next slide, please. Again, more new work for the RCCTO. I know the SNDC already talked to them. There's some work going on in Guam. Again, Guam plays an important role in our national defense. Admiral Aquino, the commander for Indo-PACOM, said it best. Guam is absolutely a strategic location. We need to operate from Guam. We need to be both fighting for and from Guam. And it will provide a variety of capabilities and support functions should we end up in some crisis situation. It's extremely important. The 2023 NDAA sought to escalate the efforts to integrate and synchronize integrated air and missile defense in Guam. As part of this initiative, Deputy Secretary of Defense appointed the Army as the lead service and designated the RCCTO as the lead for the Army. Next slide, please. So the RCCTO is presently working on establishing a joint program executive office to synchronize the joint service and agency contributions to integrated air defense. This new office will include members from various branches of the military, including the Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Missile Defense Agencies. Again, more opportunities for us within the RCCTO to work with some of our red zone stakeholders and partners. Again, the newly established JPEO will support from the wider enterprise. It's leading discussions with the DoD senior leaders on efforts on organizational construct, service responsibilities, and the implication of the Guam defense system on the .mil PFP process. Again, the integrated approach aims to enhance the defense capabilities of Guam against a range of aerial threats, including hypersonics, ballistic, and cruise missiles. Again, bottom line is this JPO is going to work to integrate all the systems of systems across all different forces. One, defend and be able to project power in the Pacific. Next slide, please. One, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to the community here. It's really been fun to kind of be a new transplant to Huntsville. We've only been here for 4 months. I was in Kuwait previous to this, so it's nice to not be in the desert. I do enjoy the cold weather. I'm an avid skier, so if the snow guns go on, you might find me swishing down the Montana or Green Mountain. Please don't run me over. No, again, thank you so much to the team. I'll leave my card down front. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the RCCTO. Looking forward to working with you. Thank you.